We need to up our game and shit. We need to do comedy butt naked, right?
Saying his goodbyes. He blew his eye socket off and his eyeball fell out.
White women keep kidnapping us. Y'all seen The Blind Side?
Aren't you glad we have that disclaimer at the beginning of the episode?
It's going to come in handy for this episode. This episode of the Voice Party Podcast is brought to you by Rich City Rides. Ride further, ride together. Get your ride on with Rich City Rides.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls watching all around the world, it's time for everyone's favorite podcast, The Voice Party.
The Voice Party.
Yours truly, Joaquin Xavier. To my immediate left, comedian extraordinaire, Corday Snell. To my further left, the board master himself, Philip Spruner.
Board master sounds
To my
racist.
immediate right, comedian extraordinaire, JD. And our guest today, welcome, Steve
Afiso.
Thank you very much for having me. Yeah, that was a short applause. You can let that run for a little bit longer. I think they fuck with
No. And then after, hit him with a brr, brr, brr.
Right, hell yeah.
There you go.
Now
What's up,
it's a party.
Steve? How you doing, bro?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. Thank you very much for having me. Gentlemen, I appreciate being on the Voice Party. I didn't bring nothing for y'all, though.
I know, dude. The last guy got his art and shit. So what do you got
Oh,
for
shit.
us?
Yeah, I didn't.
JD, that was a whole month ago, JD. You still bring that shit
a
up?
whole week ago.
My
Last
bad.
week.
Last week.
On the Voice Party.
You look great on this camera, bro. Hell
You told me not to look at myself. Why
No, I
are you,
know
why are
you
you
don't.
looking at me up
But
there? I'm right here.
I know you are, but you look great, man. You're very
Thank
aesthetically
you very
pleasing
much.
for the show.
The
I
camera loves
appreciate
you,
it.
man.
Camera loves you. Put him on one more time. Put him
Thank
on
you
one
very
more
much.
time.
I
Look at that.
shaved. I put on, some Aveeno face lather. Shout
You
out to
look
Aveeno.
well rested.
Thank you.
That's
look
why
like
he
you-
married. That's why he married.
I slept
You
on the
looking good.
couch last night.
Oh shit! Oh my
I
bad.
slept on the couch last night, so I'm
Tell
glad
us
I
why,
look
bro.
good. Oh, because I didn't feel like putting on the bed sheets. We washed the sheets. This is like there's no cool reason. I don't know a real reason. We're just too lazy.
You just didn't put like a comforter down and then put another comforter on top. You didn't do that shit. That's what I do. When I'm
You don't
busy.
ever
Because I have a duvet. Niggas don't got comforters no more. I got a duvet.
Nigga, what's a duvet?
Oh, come on now, bro. It's where you take, you have like a comforter situation, but you don't sleep on it. You put like a duvet cover on it. So you have to like slip it inside.
That's some fancy shit.
Yeah, it is kind of nice.
You never just raw dog the mattress, sleep with no sheets?
Nah, I'm an adult now, man. I got bills in my real name. So, before I used to have bills in like my mom's name. I had like a fake eBay account. I don't know why. Bills in my real name now.
Does he ever
It's
raw
all right.
dog?
What bill would you get on a fake name? Cable?
Oh no! I used to like buy and sell stuff on eBay, and I was like 14 or something like that. So I was like, well, I don't want adults to find me because then they're gonna realize I'm not 14. So I had like an alias that I would use. It didn't really matter.
This is like the reverse Chris Hansen situation.
I'm selling shit to adults.
Yeah.
Why did you sell this man a size 9.5 fake pair of Jordans?
It said it wasn't me. I used like the most caucus white name I could find.
Most caucus white name?
Yeah.
What was
Like
it?
I can't tell you.
Steven?
Because then you'll tie that alias back to me.
Rick?
Yeah.
Billy Bob. There we go.
Hunter.
Because my last name is too unique, so you can find a nigga instantly.
His name was Forrest.
What's the origin of your last name?
Ghana, West Africa.
There we go.
Yeah, that's where my dad's from.
Steve-O. That's a good. You have a great stage name.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
It's not like
it works.
Arandia is fucking terrible.
What? I think is there a lot of Rondias?
No, it's not. But then no one gets it right.
It's not Arden.
I know, bro.
It's
I feel bad because I brought him up the other night, and like I have a friend named JD. Shit. Now I'm gonna mess. It's DeAndrea. Like it's D, then apostrophe, then A.
That's what you said.
That's what I
You
said because I got and I was like, I know that's not right. I know it's not right. And then I tried to flip it. It was too late.
I'm like unknown.
I'm sorry.
Bro. I'm like him on eBay. No one knows my name.
Yeah.
No, but that's been the struggle. No one. Asifo is easy to say, and it sounds like you could be Jamaican. Like it's like what is he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not like if someone has the same last name as me, we're like
Smith.
9 times out of 10 family.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like kind of like a made up last. All last names are made up, but like this is like within the past like 3 or 4 generations, is like a made up.
I've never met
Oh,
this
okay.
info.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with
There's a
Arandia.
crazy story behind it. I don't know. I don't know the flow of this podcast, but
Oh,
I didn't
we
want to.
love-
I don't want to take it too off.
We love stories.
Okay,
Yes, we love stories.
so again, my dad's side of the family is from Ghana, West Africa, and I was like, oh, where does the last name Asifo come from? Because if you go to like other places, you might have heard the last name like Asif or something like that. But I was like, we don't meet anybody else that's an Asifo unless we know the family. And so my aunt, she told me, well, hey, like your great grandfather or great great grandfather actually like sold slaves.
Oh,
like,
shit.
In like Ghana there, and I was like, what? We have a family business, and so
like sold it to the Europeans and to like Middle Easterners, or
whoever was buying at the
buying.
time,
Yeah,
whoever was
wholesale.
buying niggas,
Wholesale.
my great grandfather was selling niggas.
So
Wholesale
And
prices.
So
yeah,
John Boyega, that was your great great grandfather and the Woman King.
maybe.
So you've always been selling shit like generationally?
Yeah, well, so okay, so no. So, but his last name was different.
Okay.
His last name was
Yeah.
different, and so his son was like, "Oh, I'm not cool with this. I'm not really into this." He left, and then he went. I think what my aunt was saying is that he traveled a lot in the Middle East, and so when he came back, I guess because Asif is a very common last name, and I think he just added the
So
O. To
basically, what you're saying is selling stuff under different last names is it?
Right. Yeah, that's my eBay origin story. I was like, it just ran through me. Yeah, so that was the whole thing. At least to what I can, and it's like no one else has that name.
That's great. That's a crazy story to know that your family was doing that.
Yeah, I was always conflicted.
I can imagine.
Yeah. Shout out to his son for like changing it. Like, nah, Dad, I don't fuck with you like that. I don't fuck
Yeah,
with you
he's like, you sold
the-
all my friends,
Exactly.
bro. Like, you,
Oh, shit.
He said,
I told you stop hanging out with him. Now I sold him.
You know what I did with
Here's
your
to
bad
Blake and-
influences?
Yeah.
he's
sold them.
He's running around playing tag with his friends. Like, okay, that's the fast one, right? That's terrible.
Just doing scouting.
Yeah.
I'm just glad it's not
my
February to be talking about this anymore.
True.
I'm actually. It's too bad that this didn't come out in February. It would be completely appropriate.
That's some shit to find out, right? That you're like, you know.
Yeah, I canceled myself. It's like bringing up racist tweets. You know, his family's connected with it. Yeah.
Oh, snap.
So yeah, that's why.
That, I get what you mean by like, I don't know if I want to go through
it's like,
story.
that's gonna be a detractor. That's gonna.
I mean, it's an uncomfortable part of history, but it is still a part. Of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And it should be
Yeah.
discussed.
Yeah.
That's
You know, what if more people talked about? You know, they're like, hey, my great granddaddy also.
Sold slaves. Yeah. Actually admitted it, you know, and
Yeah,
actually realized that that was a thing instead of just trying to wash over it, you know.
Yeah.
It'd be a trip. They're like, hey, it's just one of those things you did back then.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because I
played
like,
it off.
Yeah, it's like, do I have white guilt? No, not really. Like, but there should be something that you can do to be like, I am Spartacus. You know, like, I don't know what it is, but
That, you know what? The mood is just a little bit dampened right now.
no, I was gonna. All right, so no
not
one
at
else.
all. We're
I'm
rolling.
kidding.
So no one else
Wrong.
has like a story.
No,
of their
not like
name.
that. Like I think in my history, maybe I gotta check. Like they help like bring people across the border, but that's
Oh
you know,
shit!
that's-
Okay, you guys had some Tubbins in your family.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, some Tumanos.
Coyotes. They call them coyotes.
They were called coyotes.
Yeah, that's the people that help bring people across the border. And that's what I know from like what I've heard, you know, but it wasn't against anyone's will.
Yeah,
It was, yeah. But that's, did any of you guys have anything in your history that you, like, no, Corday's like, nope, we're white, clean slate.
Well, I mean, my last name is German, so I'll just think like, oh, okay.
Snell?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Schnell.
German
Schnell.
name.
So I just always think like, why do you have like a German name? I'm like, well, you know, according to like slavery, that was probably the name that we got from the plantation, you know.
Can you check the transcript? to
What
see
part of the South? What part of the South is your folks
you do
from?
look familiar. Isn't it?
You check the receipts.
Oh, shit.
Check
You know,
the
the-
receipts.
Check the receipts.
now
You
what-
look like my great grandfather's best friend.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, hey, Steve, I like you, man. I don't want to hate you right now. Like,
No, I'm sorry. I've never been able to talk about this.
Corday, what part of the South are your folks from?
Louisiana.
Louisiana. You're looking at more like French slave owner
North Louisiana, not South. So that's what I thought too. Like I was like, so we're more French. They was like, no, we're Northwest, because French is more of South New Orleans area, the Cajun and things like that, like fresh off the boat, because that's like where people came in, but we're more up, like way up. Because I thought I was like, okay, so we're more French, like so that means we can speak French. They was like, no, that's not the area we grew up in, was raised in, so we don't know stuff
in the
like
northern
that.
area.
Yeah,
okay.
and then there's a lot of white people named Snell, like Blake Snell, he plays in the MLB, and I remember I was like, oh, okay. But then
there was the Snells in Ozarks.
Yeah.
The Snell family. They were freaky.
Yeah.
They were freaky.
I'm a freak too, so hell yeah, that makes sense.
Go ahead.
But then Tony Snell in the NBA. And then there's I think it's Matt Snell, who played for the New York Jets in the first Super Bowl that they only won.
Oh, you really know your Snell.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, Snell was not common, so
Is it spelled the same?
it's spelled the exact same, but we're not related. That was the weird thing. So I'm like, maybe these is like the kinfolk who we grew up on.
Who told you that?
Huh?
Who told you that you're not related?
Well, my cousin, who like does a lot of the research and stuff like that, and try to checks in to see if like we're related and things like that. He was like, because he knows a lot of like the history of like where we come from, because we're from like Louisiana, and then we start spanning off to like my uncle's in like DC. My other uncle moved to Miami, and then my dad and my uncle we moved to California as a way to get from the South. Like that's where work was. But a lot of the men start having girls. So then we had to figure out, okay, well, if we're related, then who would you relate to? Because this person had a girl, and so the name Snell started like going away from in our family. So how are we related if they had a girl and married to this person?
You just got to figure out whose mama was who, basically.
Yeah. So then he was like, because I remember the Steelers had a running back who was the grandson of Matt Snell, who played in the Super Bowl. So he's like on the Steelers, and he DM'd my cousin. He was like, yo, I think we related and such. He was like, nah. Well, he was like, so he checked, and he was like, well, maybe yada yada, because Snell's not common. You know, usually if you meet somebody named Snell, you try to see if y'all related and be like, no. Like I remember I used to joke like, hey yo, Tony Snell, stop making fun of my cousin, because he was playing bad, and this is a joking way. But I'm like, he might be kinfolk. Like we might have been on the same like plantation or somewhat. But you know, so. I mean, it's like, because I'm just trying to figure it out, because I'm like, Snell was not super common. And then I remember, like, I see like Facebook ads. It's like, I can't keep calm because I'm a Snell. And I was like, what? And I just saw like all these
hella targeted,
right? But then it was like all the comments.
I've never seen that.
Well, so for me, because my last name is Snell, so it was targeted towards me. But then in the comments, I was like, okay, I didn't know. It was like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm drunk, I'm a Snell. And I'm like, what the fuck, right? But then in the comments, it was just all white people commenting. So I'm like, oh, because German, like, they must drink or something like that. And I would see like one black person every like 40 comments. I'm like, okay, so this is their shit, not our stuff. So yeah.
If you meet any Arandia, they're related to me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
My great grandfather came from he was Basque, and he came like the World War whatever. Like my grandpa looks like that complexion, you know.
Okay, shout out Phil.
No, straight up. Like he got it, and then my grandma is as dark as Corday, so it's like
shout out
we're
Corday.
like a perfect mixture.
I liked how you like pointed at no, that darker.
Oh, yeah. So that's why I know the Arandia, like there's no, and that's why everyone fucks up the name, because it's like, you know.
Yeah,
and I
I
always
definitely wasn't rolling the R on it, so yeah, I was gonna mess it up either.
And I always have that little Arandia with the host before the show, and it just, you know, and that's all I know. It just, my grandpa's side is like Basque, which is like I don't know, they're like the Laotians of Europe, you know.
Okay.
They like roam around and shit.
They're like in between, like what, Spain and France, right?
Spain and Portugal. Yeah. So that's what you know about this. That must have been a trip to find out like your family's history.
Yeah. And so what I wanted to do at the time was like try and like do interviews with each of like my older family members, because they're getting older and we don't have as much immediate family in Ghana anymore. Just try and like document some of that. It hasn't been going that well, just because like I haven't been like prioritizing it. But I think like out of my like relatives and stuff, I probably care about it more than other people, which is why I was like, all right, I should really make the time to go and just do those.
Yeah, because it's like
those stories,
preserving all that stuff.
Yeah, because otherwise it's gone. You know, but.
Well, I think we got like right into it. Tell our listeners what you do. I love how this. We usually gotta pull this out of guests, and you just kind of like, wow,
Oh, yeah,
right into it,
I
man.
asked, if
It's like when a
Went from
WWE.
hello to slavery. It was great.
It's like when a WWE match starts with like, get the tables, and then it's like, bam, we're right there.
Slow down.
Happy February 33rd. That 33.
Tell our listeners what you do.
Yeah, man. My name is Steve Afiso. I make boring things fun, man. So just wherever you're at, wherever we may be, we're just gonna make it a very entertaining time. Originally from Maryland.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
And then lived in DC for a bit, like DC proper, and been living in the Bay for the past, since 2017, so 7 years now.
Wow.
Okay.
So I love it out here. It's been a really good time.
We met through comedy at the Baltic Kiss.
Yeah, Baltic Kiss, man. Shout out Baltic Kiss, an amazing bar.
You run an amazing show there.
Thank you very much. I've always, had some challenges, but you help make it worth it, man. It's been a great show. JD's like the unofficial mayor of Richmond, from what I've seen. So,
Yeah.
in my eyes, respectfully, I don't know.
no,
I don't
for
want
sure.
to put no disrespect on nobody's name. I don't know who the real mayor is.
We had him on here.
Yeah, we had him on
We
here.
had him on here.
Before
This is
he
what I'm
won,
saying, like, this
while
is-
he was campaigning to be mayor, we had him on the show.
Yeah.
I gave him the approval. You got it.
Got the-
Yeah.
He was also like the only mayoral candidate to stop by. Hint, hint.
The voice party makes that call, man.
No, but I met you at the Baltic Kiss. I think that's where we met, right?
Yes,
no,
yes,
we met at Copper
absolutely.
Spoon. But I saw that you were running a show in Richmond, and I always like showing up to
you're right.
see
Yeah.
Richmond shows because it's an interesting place to do comedy.
Yeah.
It's like the audience likes it, but then people have like an idea of what Richmond might be for comedy.
Yeah.
And it used to be that.
Yeah.
It's still that a little bit, but it's great for comedy. People come out to shows.
Were there ever a lot of shows here, or is it just now starting to pick up?
No, it was never
Yeah,
a
just
lot of shows
never.
here. Yeah.
We did I went to one of the first ones I ever saw. Apparently there were in the past because Tony Sparks mentioned he did
Yeah.
shows here. But one of the first shows I ever
Legend,
saw
yeah.
was saw Corday at this place in Richmond, which inspired me to start doing stand up.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
It was called, at the time, it was called the Boiler House.
Boiler House.
It was right next to, what is it?
It's in the marina.
Marina, and it's called the Pavilion. What is it?
The Craneway
It
Pavilion.
was right next to the Cranberry Pavilion.
It was ran by, what was her name?
Kathy McCarthy.
Kathy McCarthy.
R.I.P. She got me into stand up. That was a dope one. And then spanning from there, the shows that you've done, the shows that you've done at the Baltic Kiss. It's funny because you guys have shows in Point Richmond, which is the nice, rich suburb of Richmond that most people don't talk about.
very,
It's very safe for your cars.
Very
They're
safe.
yeah.
It's the safest. Like everybody, if you want to move, the hardest place to move into is Point Richmond and like the hills of Richmond. They don't even call it that. They call it
El Sobrante.
no, they don't
El
call it-
Cerrito.
No. Dude, the opposite of Barrett. Like when you get off Barrett, you make the right.
Oh yeah, that's
They make the left,
Yeah,
like heading towards like the hills.
Right, heading towards. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's like the hardest two spots.
Like
'cause it's-
Adams Middle School.
Yeah, by Adams Middle School and stuff like
Yeah.
that, because that's the rich area of Richmond. They don't even call it Richmond; they just call it the hills. It's like disassociated with them.
But it's a good place for comedy because it's like the people want to go to shows. It just some of them it's expensive to go to the city or
Yeah, that's true.
and it's very rare nowadays to go to a show and the chances of getting broken into your car.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So you might just catch one act and be like, hey, I gotta go check on my
Yeah.
car.
Yeah.
So
And you're bringing good comics out to
Yeah.
that space, man.
Absolutely.
So that's
Yeah.
why I wanted to have you on here to plug your show and
Yeah,
have you
not
talk
even
about have you talk about when you do the show because now you asked me to help you with it and
yeah. We're gonna make it pop. We're gonna make Richmond definitely like one of the best places to watch comedy, during the week because there's definitely the audience there. There's definitely a lot of talent. One thing that I've definitely appreciated about running this show because we've been running it for about a year now is I've had the opportunity to work with so many talented comics that I wouldn't normally work with, like that are in like the North Bay or East Bay. Not that it's far. It's just like when you're in SF, you can get like a bubble of just like comics that you just bump into
Yeah.
because I live there.
Yeah.
So you'd be like, oh, well, I'm gonna come bring people that I know. But
Yeah.
it's just like shout out Corday when he stopped by. I was like, oh yeah, give him a set.
Yeah, appreciate
JD's
it.
come by. Some other people that I just normally don't see,
Yeah.
but are hilarious. And, you know, I think is definitely an opportunity for me to also stretch myself in that sense. So it is the last Monday of every month we run, you know, like a really good showcase there. We're going to incorporate like a live band that plays, is at Baltic Kiss. And the owners of Baltic Kiss are amazing. Shout out Tony and Susie, the bar and wait staff. They got some great barbecue there. Yeah, they're just a very eccentric owners. Like they were just really into comedy. I think he used to be involved in helping to run like a comedy club or something like some year years ago. And so he's like, hey, he wants to do it. It's a great stage. And so we put that show on 7:30 last Monday of every month. And my good friend Karen Buchanan, she runs a show from 5:30 to 6:30 at Kaleidoscope every Monday. Clean comedy, come through, get your laughs there, and then you know when you're ready to get a little wilder, you know you come over to Baltic Kiss last Monday of every month, man. Great line.
And it worked out for like some comics I know that got 2 sets.
Yeah.
One night, great crowds, both shows.
Yeah.
So that's also. I mean, do you want to talk about the other thing we got going on Mondays?
Yeah, but well, potentially like we can hopefully make it like 3 shows or like 3 opportunities at a mic, or at a minimum like two chances to get on a mic at Richmond. You know, because we'll have, you know, obviously with Karen's the clean comedy at Kaleidoscope from 5:30 to 6:30, and then running an open mic from like maybe 7:30, 8, all the way up until when jam night starts at 10 o'clock when they have music in it. But running an open mic there because it'll help people just know like, hey, every Monday gotta go to Richmond.
There's not I may be wrong, but there's no open mic right now in the East Bay. Also,
The closest one on Mondays is in Livermore.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, like in
How far is Petaluma from here? It's real far.
40 minutes.
From here,
45.
Yeah, 45
minutes.
minutes.
Yeah, that's not
With no traffic.
Yeah, with no traffic, and then you might get up to like an hour.
And because Copper Spoon is gone.
Yeah, and because Copper Spoon is gone in East Bay, so yeah. And then and then there used to be like open mic years ago at the Ivy Room in Albany.
Wow.
Yeah, there's no.
I started that one with
Hey, the mayor,
Johan.
man.
Johan.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't start it, but like Johan and I, we
Yeah.
were like, but it was just. It became chaotic.
Yeah, it was a lot. It's funny thing about it.
Comic.
Yeah, it's funny thing. They wanted to do comedy again too, which is funny. So yeah.
Oh man. Well, I did not know that, and that's why I was like, I've thought about stepping away from it. I was like, you know, I think I might be done running shows for a bit, but just like every time we've done a show there at the end, I'm just like, I really appreciate me getting to learn more about like this area, getting to work with people, and we just have fun.
Yeah.
And I was like, to do that on a Monday night is fantastic.
My favorite thing was the day you came to drop the set. This guy was like, I'm done with this.
I'm a quitter, bro.
I'm done. I think this is the last one.
Yeah.
I went to do a round of handing like flyers, you know,
Barking.
Richmond,
Yeah.
barking.
Yeah.
Gave me a stack of flyers,
Yeah.
and then I came back, and then he's like, his look on his face is like, I'm fucking done with this. He says, I'm gonna go bark, and then I was like, all right. And then as he's walking away, I'm like, you're coming back, right?
Well, because like I feel a lot of ownership of the show, as I should, because I run the show, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I want comics to feel like, hey, I'm coming to a show, I'm not wasting my time.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like there's gonna be an audience, and then too for the owners is like, you know, they're normally doing music and stuff, so for them to also feel like, hey, I'm taking up space to also put butts in seats and help them out as well. Yeah. So sometimes I don't know how to find you, Richmond, to get out and hear about this show. So when I show up and there's no tickets sold, I'm like, oh shoot, this is gonna be like, my anxiety starts like just messing up, like, oh Steven, you failed this one.
Yeah.
But for some reason, JD comes through, saves me, and says, hey, look, I'm gonna tell a few people, you know, and then we have some other regulars that come through the door, and we just have like a bomb ass show. So I always have a lot of anxiety going into it, but by the end, I'm like, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah. I pulled up because JD posted it. I was like, oh shit, that's tonight? Because I kept seeing
It's like 10 minutes from both of us.
Yeah, so-
that's why it's great to be able to get stage time.
Yeah.
Literally 10 minutes.
Yeah, and it's no traffic too. So I just took the Parkway down and just got there and pulled up. And then Steve, I remember that night you just looked a little defeated. He was just like, what's up, Corday, man? How's it going? And I'm like, are you good, man?
I was trying to tell as many people, like the most recent show we did, I was trying to tell as many people like this is the last show.
Yeah.
This is I wanted to. Well, part of it was like
It was great. It was a great show, man.
It was a great show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just feel like a lot of anxiety. I put a lot of pressure on myself.
Yeah.
Like whatever I do, if like comes across as like it's quality or it's good and it's worth people's time.
Yeah.
So,
And the thing that has been great, it's been a while since I've done a Richmond show. We used to do the show here, and
great audiences.
yeah,
a lot of
so
fun.
it was like, hey, I don't know when I'm gonna be back in Richmond.
Yeah.
That helped. The last one, it helped, and it's but I think eventually, if you have a good show, eventually it'll just
yeah.
people come, and then people are usually at that show.
Yeah.
And this last show, you had
some people that did the open mic or the show with Karen at Kaleidoscope then came over and did
And
a
they brought audience, like,
and they did a
members.
fantastic
and
job.
then when Rudy Ortiz, shout out to Rudy Ortiz, when he was up,
Yeah,
a
shout
lot
out
of the
Rudy.
regular bar people just came to stand and like, what's going on here?
Because you just hear it and it just
It was
sounds
the roaring
fun.
laughter and fucking
Roaring laughter.
Rudy called himself what did he say? A Mexicoon.
Yeah, Mexicoon. I don't know if that's part of his act or he stumbled upon it that night, but that was hilarious. And then he did the little.
No, that might be new. I know, Rudy,
Yeah.
that might be a new one, but that's good. That's wow. That is.
I noticed that's what pulled people.
Oh, that's what they're like. Oh, what the hell is this?
He comes
Yeah, the Mexicoon, man. That's hilarious. I've never heard that.
When did you start comedy, bro?
Yeah.
I started comedy in 2016.
Okay.
And in DC.
In DC.
Yes, yeah. So I started comedy out there. I just got out of a breakup, and like I knew I always wanted to do
Usually how
comedy.
it starts.
Yeah, like I knew I want to do comedy probably ever since I was in like elementary school. But I grew up in the suburbs, and there was nobody doing that. Like there was no downtown open mic or anything. So it wasn't until after college that I was like, oh, okay, I'm over this breakup. Like, let me just try and do all the things that I've ever wanted to do, and that was one of them. So I took like this like comedy class because I was like, okay, I know I can be conversationally funny, but like I feel like I was overthinking like how to tell a joke. So that kind of just like forced me.
Yeah.
And then from there, I just kind of like got into the open mic scene and just started doing that.
In DC.
In DC.
Okay.
And I was in DC for about like a year, and then I got a job out in California because I knew I wanted to get out of DC because I had been there already for like 2 years. And I grew up in Maryland, like right outside of DC. So like my entire life.
Is there real quick question about the DC comedy scene?
Yes.
Is there like a Chappelle came from here and you're like,
Oh, there's I mean, there's so many.
Yeah, what's it like in the DMV?
Oh, the DMV is a great comedy scene. So I mean, I'm very happy that I started out there. Like I think the SF scene is. I haven't been in all the scenes, but like from what I've heard, the SF is an amazing scene. I would say top 5, and it's not 5. For just like getting a lot of stage time, getting a lot of shows, getting in front of a lot of different audiences. DC is a great place to start because I think I got a lot of discipline from there. You definitely have to show that like you're not wasting people's time, and then when you get on there like you're funny because it is a little bit like, okay, we've had a lot of funny people come out of DC, whether it's like Donnell Rawlings, Earthquake, you have you have Chappelle, Wanda Sykes, like so many people that
Tommy Davidson too,
yeah, like you just like just don't waste nobody's time,
Yeah.
man, because like we got funny people,
Right.
So like it's like a case in point is like if you're doing comedy, you have the open mic list, right? And so most places like list 1 through 10. You show up early, you push your name number 1. When I started doing open mics in DC, if nobody knows you, or if this is like your first week of comedy, you're number 1, you're getting bumped. You will get bumped all the way to the end.
Yeah.
And let's say like Tony Woods walks into the room and decides to just do like 20 minutes. You go up after Tony Woods whenever he decides to be done. And when you go, you still better be funny.
he could do an hour if he wants.
Yeah, he'd do an hour, right? And there was just like this level of like seniority and respect for like people who was like putting in work and everything like that. So I was like,
And you
all right.
just understand that that's the culture.
Yeah, so you know like, okay, when it is your time, like you go up there, do your best stuff, because if you do well, then people will start respecting, okay, hey, he's 3, you 3, keep your spot, type of thing. So when I came out here, and then like, if you're 1, you're 1, and no matter if you get up there and just talk about like slapping your grandma for 3-5 minutes, like you can do that next week if you show up. But
the brainwash used to be like that. I remember when I first started, it was like 2012. So I used to get bumped like a bunch because it was like Lyle Barron, Stroy Moy, then it'd be like Tony would be hosting, then Phil Woods, Kasim. So it was like all the guys or people like Marcella might have come through, or Corey Short, Storn and stuff. So it was like all the hitters who have since moved from the Bay Area. Kabir, like stuff like that. Samuel Bade will come through. So it like all that.
Shout out all those guys, man.
Yeah, will be just come through and be like, all right, well, I was 5. They was like, but we gonna put this one up here, brother, and then we gonna this other person. Oh, sorry, we just had somebody else come in, so you went from 5 to
25.
Yeah, basically.
That definitely makes you understand and appreciate the process behind. Even if you can call it bullshit, but like you just have a deeper appreciation. Like, all right, hey, look, everybody trying to put in work,
and if you work, you can be that guy. Who fucking, bumps.
Yeah,
because then you would see like all them like going up, crushing, doing well, and then they would put up like an open micer who wasn't paying attention, and then they just went up and start, like you said, talking about their mom or like whatever, and then
just
you'd be like
random long stories,
and then it'd be like, okay, well, we're putting these hitters back up here again. They're like, well, I always gotta wait, and it was like, did you see who was up there? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
That's a good thing to understand starting off, because then a lot of motherfuckers don't get that, and then they all up in their feelings, like, man, fuck that place.
But I think
like we're trying to keep the crowd going here. The crowd was just deadened. We need to get it live.
But I think one thing I'll say, and I just comparing like the different feels that I got is like, this is the SF scene or the Bay Area scene is like maybe the first I felt like people really were like, I'm trying to make it as like a stand-up comic. Like, this will be my full-time career. I think DC, maybe it's because I was only in my first like year or so that like a lot of people were like, hey, it'd be cool if we did it. But it wasn't like people were like, all right, I'm gonna do this and get ready to go to LA or New York, or like I'm trying to get on this and do this competition or whatever it is. Like, people were like, oh, I'm gonna be funny, I'm gonna be dope, I'm gonna do the shows around.
They weren't as ambitious as they are.
And it might be because like DC, there's definitely like a stronger like black comedy scene. Even though they may not consider it that, there's definitely stronger than it is here.
Absolutely.
So like there's always that thing between like mainstream kind of comedy and success. Versus like when you come and perform in front of a lot of black audiences that may not necessarily translate the same way. But
do you mean in the sense is like the black comedy scene is separate from Hollywood?
Yeah, well, that's why Chocolate Sundays is such a big deal, right? Like the fact that they have to call
it's
it
a little
that.
bit separate.
Yeah, that's like one of the first things that are like that. I'm not saying like aren't black comics that
no, for sure,
all that, but it's just like generally, it's not the first thing that they come to. But so SF was like first people I kind of met where they're just like, oh, I'm trying to build an act so I can get out
of here.
Yeah, or like go to this next level of like where I am doing Comedy Central, I am doing that. And there's no disrespect to nobody, but like there wasn't as many people that I met starting. So like when I started doing comedy, I was like, I'm just gonna tell jokes and just run around. Like, that's all I had planned. That's all I had planned. So so that's like another thing that I've observed here. So I appreciate all the hustle and ambition for a lot of people out of here, because that definitely motivates me now. To do things. And
then for you, like since you've been out here doing stand up, like you did mention you got the discipline from up there, but then you got the hustle from here. What's the goal for you going forward? Like, is this just one of the other spots you're gonna be in, or because you got married out here, right?
Yeah, I got married out here. There's a lot of life stuff for me, man, and I've been having like a lot of like internal conversations with myself, because one, I'm a very, very competitive person. Like if I do anything, it's like I would like to be one of the best people doing it.
Exactly.
Right.
However, I know that I don't do this full time, so there's like a trade-off in where like the more time I spend on this, the less time I'm spending on like my marriage and like my actual job, which I do enjoy, right? And then just like other things that I have. I just want to say, like, a lot of people are like, I'm trying to get away from my job, and then it's like, I love my job. Right. I love what I do. I work in cybersecurity.
Oh shit! It's hunting down the hackers.
Like, I love what I do, right? And so I wouldn't necessarily stop doing that to do this. And right now they don't conflict, but that means like if I'm splitting my time between it, I can only do so much. So when I'm comparing myself to someone who says like I'm doing this full time, like this joke has got to take me to this next level, right? Like I'm obviously not. It doesn't.
Let's get that next.
It doesn't make sense for me to compare myself to that. So I've had to adjust, like kind of like what I'm experiencing, to be like, hey, my journey's going to be different. It's probably going to be a little bit longer. Doesn't mean I can't have fun with it. Can't mean I can't try. But like it's not right to kind of compare. So what does that really look like for me in the long run? I don't know. But right now I'm just trying to like get out more more and put together like some of the best stuff that I can and just still take it seriously.
The reason I ask is because I could see you on like TV shows, movies.
I get
bro.
that, man.
You
Your
got
own
that
sitcom.
Can you? No, I'm playing.
Yeah, no, that's real shit. That's real thought.
Not good ones, but nah.
Yeah.
But so if you had like an offer to like do let's say 10 years from now, come do a sitcom, would you be like, well, no, it's going to conflict with my like cyber security position?
Like, okay, how real are we being on this? Like,
You're gonna play.
are we gonna be real, or should I like?
You're gonna
some
play
fantasy?
young Uncle Phil from
Gerard Carmichael when he was on NBC.
yeah.
Okay, the Carmichael show.
yeah.
Carmichael show, because I feel like that's like a good show where you're like leading it with the family and stuff like that. Because I watch a ton of your sketches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I love all them shits.
Thank you so much, Corday. I appreciate you.
Yeah, because I'm like,
Shout out Corday.
because I remember one time Steve had this amazing sketch that I thought was flawless. It was amazing, and I remember I watched it like 2 to 3 times, and I went back to his page to look, and he had took it down. I was like, Steve, what the fuck, dude? Why you take that? He was like, oh, I made a little mistake here. I was like, where? I was like, where did you make it? He was like, oh, I didn't like how the subtitles came up on one part, the captions came up on this one part, I needed to change it. I was like,
Perfection.
I was like, dude, that was fucking fine. Put that shit back up. I think you eventually put it back up, but I was just like, dude, nah, that shit was good. Because
I'm posting sketches, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do that more.
And you got a great stage presence, so that's why I'm like,
Thank you.
I pay attention to that.
Thank you very much. Yeah, no, I definitely get that a fair amount. Not even trying to like gas myself or nothing like that. And so that's another part of like the anxiety that I feel, because it's like, oh shoot, like I should be trying not to waste this talent and all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that comes with the cost.
Yeah.
And that's what I was like, I mean, how real are we being? Is like I had to ask myself, is like, well, I asked a lot of my friends this, and I was like, if your past year was anything like the next, say, like decade or anything like that, is there anything that you would change about it? Right? Like, remove like the incremental quality of lives. Maybe you get like a raise or whatever it is, but just like generally, like if what you did last year, is a signal to like what your next 10 years would be, like, would you be happy with that? And I was like, I would be like, and that's what I equate to like kind of living your dream a bit.
Yeah.
Like there's not anything I would per se like stop or feel like, oh my God, I hate that I have to do this.
Yeah.
You're
happy with this.
Well, okay. So this is like the real part is like, okay, I like comedy and acting is a whole other hustle. And it's not saying that I don't love it, but it's like, I have certain commitments in which like supporting like either like my family and just things that I have going on that is like it would have to make like sense monetarily to get there, and like I would have to like sacrifice to do it. So I have to find another path to get there. It may not be like just drop everything, because like I said, I like my job, and it's like the certain comforts that you get from grinding so however long in acting or in comedy to get there. Is like I kind of have some of those flexibilities right now. So it's like to trade that to just get it all the way through that, I don't think that makes sense for me. So like I need to find another way, which may be a longer path, but just using some of what I already kind of have there. So without trying to do too much.
No, I definitely get it, because like I teach, like, so like the thing about me, it was like always lack of sleep, like, or like people always like, hey, can you headline this show on a Wednesday? And I was like when? Like when I get off work at 4:30, I'm gonna get to just, because it's like 4 or 5 hours away, and I'm like, how the fuck would I do? I take the day off or something
Thursday,
like that.
This Thursday coming up.
Yeah,
that is a perfect example of that. Santa Cruz.
Oh yeah. Well, I can make that. No, but I remember I got somebody hit me up like, could you make it to like St. Louis Obispo on this Wednesday, and that's 4.5 hours away without traffic, so you might add it. And I'm like, what time the show start? 7. I'm like, I am not gonna be there at 07. So and then it's like little stuff like that, and then it's like it's teaching in the way of like letting me like really kind of do stuff, but then you gotta like, okay, how much is this gonna pay, like, or you gotta, the price gotta be higher and stuff like that. So it's like all that kind of stuff that you battle with.
Or if it's like your really like main priority to do it, like there's nothing wrong with it. Like I had like a internal goal with myself. I was like, if it's arbitrary, but I was like, oh, if I don't like what I'm doing by this certain point in my life, I'm just gonna quit and just do comedy full time. But fortunately that didn't happen for me. I was like, okay, I do like what I have, so I'm gonna probably be in the happily be in the Bay for like a number of years. I'm not moving to LA, not moving to New York, and I'm gonna like most people like try and take advantage of like social media and build like an audience there, which is why I appreciate any and all feedback on the sketches I'm making. trying to make more of those. And
What was your most recent one? It was about
Meek Mill.
Yeah,
Meek Mill PR.
Oh my God.
Yeah, the Meek Mill PR. I was like, because I was like, what if you're Meek Mill's PR team right now? Like, you gotta be going
That's
crazy.
Nightmare half the time.
It's like,
Yeah.
Meek, what did we say? No more tweeting.
Yeah, and he just keeps tweeting.
Wait, what happened with Meek Mill?
I love Meek Mill, but he keeps tweeting.
So
Something's always.
So basically, P Diddy. They said P Diddy had sex with a rapper from Philly.
Oh, shit.
And so the person immediately
It was unnamed. The name was redacted in the document. All it said was like, but in the footnotes it said Philadelphia rapper that dated Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
Oh.
And everyone pointed at
That
Meek Mill and
narrows it the heck
said,
down.
"Bro, you was doing what with Diddy?" And so Meek Mill's tweet.
This is why they broke up.
And so you would think logically the first tweet that you would say when everyone's kind of like pinging you is like, bro, I've never hung out with Diddy like that. I'm not gay or whatever the accusations are. But he went into this long rant about whoever posted that. I'm gonna post up in front of your house that they're trying to distract you from my album coming out tomorrow. And then like tweet number 7 was like, I'm not gay. You know,
Probably should have led with that one.
like he did so much, and so what made it worse is that like people were going through all his old tweets when he said weird stuff like this D good as hell. And so they called him the cream chaser, and videos with him and Diddy singing to each other, and I was like, so I was like, if you're his PR team, like you gotta be like, Meek, we gotta chill.
Yeah, it was like, Meek, we gotta chill. What did I say? Remember last time?
Yeah.
You getting your Twitter fingers turned to trigger fingers, stuff like that. You say you getting bodied by a singer. And then it was one thing. He was like, Bing. He was like, Meek, I know you didn't tweet as I'm talking to you. Put the phone down, Meek. What are we doing? I was like,
So shout out my friends Kanye and Julian who helped me put that idea together because that was really funny. So trying to come up with some more sketches. I don't know. Do you think sketches are you have to make a lot of them?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, dude.
You gotta make them consistently. For
You
guys
got to
that-
Saturday Night Live the fuck out of that. Like,
It's multiple things, dude. Because like I remember I had a heart to heart with you, man. Like I wanted to learn. I was like, he said you ain't posted in a while. I was like, man, because people got in my head about what it's like. Post at this time, then post. Don't post like you should post. Like so, and that guy.
By people, do you mean Marcos?
No, it was actually a few other
more
people.
than one person.
It was more than one person, and then it was like, oh, you got to post at this time. Then also you got to post something that immediately grabs people and immediately gets straight to the point, cut some shit down and all kind of stuff. And then maybe Marcos a little bit, but then Marcos told me.
Fuck about tomorrow's you now.
But then Marcos helped me edit this stuff. So I'm like posting so sometimes it'll be like a part 1 or part 2 clip that doesn't do well because it's the part 3 clip of something that went on, and then I remember I started posting just stand-up clips before I was posting green screen clips that was doing well.
The green screen was real cool.
Yeah, so
You do that too, right?
Yeah, but I think I kind of stopped. I've changed my workflow from making videos a bit. But,
so then it was like, okay, well, these, and it was several things. Then I was getting shadow banned randomly, so a video would go from
that'd be hell.
Yeah, it'd be hell. So I'm working on this shit, or I posted a video that got 5,000 to 7,500 views, or one that goes for 12,000. Right now I'm getting 800. What the fuck happened? What did I do? So now that's in my head. And then I'm doing stand-up clips. I was like, oh well, I should just post stand-up clips. I shouldn't do the green screen. And right after the one that hit 1 million, I stopped doing it like a dummy. And I just keep seeing all these green screen clips going viral. I'm just like, why did I stop doing it? So it's all this constant thing in my head. He was like,
I think it's really just the consistency.
Yeah.
It's really what it is.
Yeah.
Because you have to essentially work for the algorithm. This is one thing I learned. I don't have a lot of big success. I'm a death by 1,000 cuts on social media. I've never been the person that I post one, it does 10 billion bajillion views and nothing. That's never happened to me. Right? So what I've learned is you'll get a handful of people that will follow you. And I was like, oh shoot, great. Then I look at maybe their profile. It'll say they're followed by 250 people, but then they follow 4,000 people.
Wow.
And I'm like, this person's a fucking slut. They're just following everybody, bro. I don't feel special at all. I don't feel special at all. So it's now you're competing. So So if you don't post at all, you just post one
Yeah.
out of the other 4,000 accounts that are feeding them content.
Constantly,
You're not gonna pop on there.
Yeah.
You know, so I felt special when it was like, all right, they're followed by 250 people and they followed 251. I'm the 51. I was like, you know what? I'm doing it for you. You believe in me. You're throwing off your, follower count for me. So.
But I get it. Like you're scrolling and you see something you like, I'm gonna follow this. But then, like, how many times a day does that happen, or a month or a year does that happen for somebody where they see new content and they go, I like this content. Let me follow this creator.
I do that for like weird cooking in the woods pages.
Yeah, but you look at their page first and be like, do they have a bunch of other ones like this?
Yeah, I do. Yep.
You don't be like, it's just not
It's
just a one.
one-off.
Yeah, it's like, oh, if it's a one-off, hey, keep doing your thing, bucko. But if it's like, oh, they cooking, let me get in on the, let me ride the wave.
That is the thing. So you watch the video, and you go, okay, I like this. Then you go to their page, like, is it more like this? And then then you might like, okay, now I'm gonna follow. Versus like people like you see one video, okay, that was cool, and then
you
just
go
keep
and
scrolling.
you see the video or a skit and it's a meme page. You're like,
Oh, that's the worst. That's the worst. Yeah. You be like, oh, okay, this person is cool. Just memes. I'm like, oh, you ain't even real.
And then, and then it's like 2 a.m. I'm hunting down the real creator.
Yeah, like a whole rabbit hole, or like, or you ever see meme pages do this? Like, okay, tag here, like the original was like this one, and it's just their meme page again. I think I'm gonna start doing that. I think I'm gonna steal that. Like, just be like, original post by, and it's just me posting me, like, because then you just go to my page. But then I feel like that's a way for them to get follows, you know. So
there's a bunch. It's a dirty game out there, but I think it's the
social media marketing.
It's a mind fuck, dude.
It is stressful too. Like, I mean, it's a game you got to play. And it's like, it's not just doing.
I think it's ultimately better.
Is it?
Yeah, at least from what I've heard, like, more successful comics that kind of do this at a higher level is that like you don't necessarily need a studio.
That's true.
Or like a TV to approve you.
Yeah.
As long as you can get butts in seats.
And this can get you to
right. Like, I mean, that's why I think this podcast is a great idea. I mean, because you guys are building like a connection with an audience. Like, because like I was talking about with my friend, is like, what gets you the difference? Like, you might listen to like a lot of rap, right? But like, what gets you to actually go to a concert for a rapper that you like versus like all the other music that you listen to? And it's probably because you feel like there's some representation or something that you really see, or maybe like, oh, I've been listening to you since 2011, right? When you had that first mixtape, and now you up, I gotta pull up,
for real. Like you stuck with that rapper since the beginning, or there's something. Maybe you see a bit of yourself in that.
You see them growing as
it's like I woke up every day and he always had a new mixtape. Or like, when Kanye did Good Fridays, like every Friday he had a track for me. Like there's a certain connection now. I was like, I'm gonna go.
It's like always like this one single that like is like that I love, that I play to all the time, that helped me through this like point. And so that's when you came to my city. I had to go see you. And at the same time, it's the same thing for comics. Like I love this one joke, so that's why when I saw you, it was like out in like my city, I had to come and see you.
Oh, you did that one joke when I first saw you, and now you did it but differently because I could see you're getting better, like stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
I had that here where I talked about my first time meeting Felipe Esparza.
Oh yeah.
And then we had him on the podcast, and it was like listeners told me like, I remember listening, and then you got him on, and that was like one of your dreams. It's like like that's cool. Then that shows you that like you're cultivating a little.
Yeah, because one thing I learned from like people that do have a lot more followers, like just because you have a high follower count doesn't necessarily solve the equation.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because you can have 10,000, 100,000 people following, but if they don't feel that connection to you to come out and want to see you, then it don't really translate.
It also depends on like where they are in the world, right?
That's another factor.
300 people in Paraguay, and 400 people in Mexico, 200 in Scotland, and 300 in Egypt, and 200 here, and
that's what Oliver Graves said. He said these whatever thousands of followers that are all scattered in the fucking the region, all that. They don't help him for shows here. So
that's his followers probably be in like caves and shit. And caskets. Like, just shout out Oliver Graves, but I know he has a very specific, following that does not, congregate with the masses.
Sleep in coffins and shit.
They are not in the normal location.
Old Transylvanian castles. I feel you.
Exactly. Come to the darkest of darkest. Like, where's Sleepy Hollow in here? But then that sucks too, because it's like you finally get your followers up and you finally have this huge following, and then but they're scattered across places.
But the thing is, like, I mean, a following like that is cool to have on social media. But I want to get theaters or comedy clubs.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Money
That's what I'm
is on the
saying.
road. Yeah. Like, I mean,
That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, if like you got, I got 90,000, but I can't pack out a show in Richmond because my followers are in Iowa.
Yeah.
But myself, I'm like, well, where's your followers at? Like, oh, they're
Go
like
there.
They're Scotland. Yeah, that's why I'm like, they're in Scotland. I'm like, well, go to the UK. Go to these areas. Like, say I'm trying to figure out a way, come to these shows out here and shit like that.
And I think that's the one thing you can't ever choose who you're following.
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
You can't, like, you just, these random fucking Scottish people like him, you know? It's like, they just gonna go and it's just,
Guess I'm gonna have to visit Edinburgh.
Right, yeah.
Like,
So there's definitely something if you are like on social media and you do that there, because I think as performers you're like, hey, the live show is where it's all gonna happen, right? And you definitely make a lot of money if you can make more money on the road, selling merch, you know, being the headlining gig like that. But I think like the next piece, because there's a bunch of things that are already pointing to it, is where you can have your audience pay you directly, and and we can't expect them to pay for like a clip, like, oh, well, hey, you paid so you can see my stand-up content. Like, no, bro, I'll just wait till you post it on social media, because that's how I got here in the first place.
What's that thing called?
Patreon.
Patreon.
There's Patreon.
the thing
and
that every
there's-
YouTuber's got these days.
Right, there's Patreon, you can do the Cash Apps, there's OnlyFans, and like, I mean, it's changing people's lives where you can pay someone directly. But then I think like as a performer, when you start doing the social medias and stuff, like, can you, because I think what I was hearing is that like, well, not here, I was reading this one guy who does like a blog, it's like, if you can find like 1,000 people to give you $100 a year, if you can do that, like you can sustain whatever it is that you want to do, which equals out to like, you know.
I'm glad you said that, because we're going to have a Patreon page starting up soon.
Absolutely. Support the Patreon page, The Voice Party, man. Like, I love it out here. Look, these guys are taking care of me. They gave me a whole water bottle, man. Now here's the thing. It's not name brand. It's not name brand. So if you do donate to the Patreon, I might get.
Next time you come, you get Crystal Geyser.
Yeah, I might get some Aquafina. No, you guys
Some
might
bubbly.
have. Some like that mountain water.
That soul, that boss,
So
that
every
boss
dollar,
water?
every cent makes a difference on the Voice Party, man. So I appreciate
Every
you
dollar
guys.
right now is up on these screens, man.
Exactly.
Hey, real quick, I gotta
nice
ask you:
here.
does your cybersecurity job ever help you with your content creation or anything like that? Is there anything you take away from that?
Yes, so that's another thing. I have the opportunity at my job to kind of do comedy in a
Fuck
sense.
around and shit.
Yeah, well, so we do a bunch of videos that, like, you know, so cybersecurity is I like that field because, one, like, everyone has like a computer, everyone has an online presence, so there's always something to kind of consider and think about. But like, I guess the thing is, like, how do you make average people care about that? And you can't make it super complicated. It has to be like relatable enough, kind of like when you were growing up and you had like Bill Nye the Science Guy, or like I'm a Bill, only a Bill. Like, there has to be a way to kind of make it very digestible. Like, what is the most like important thing that I need to know so I can go on about my life? So like, that's what I get a chance to think about, and there's like fun videos and skits that I get to do and work with some really talented people to do that. So I've had the opportunity to kind of play around and do some videos through that, which I think help in some sense here. But then also the comedy part helps a lot when I go back there and do kind of like a bunch of like hosting and events and stuff. So so I think they kind of found a way to like cross over a bit. And the plan is to, like, as time goes on, is to like let that continue to like converge.
Yeah.
When you produce your skits, are you doing improvisation or are you writing?
I'm a very heavier on like the plan piece. So like, what I do is, like, as I'm going throughout the day, like, I just have a bunch of like ideas that I might write down, and I have like a Kanban board. I'm super like organized with it. I'm just like, all right, here's just an idea. And then I'm like, this is the way it should go. And then I was like, okay, these ones are ready to shoot. Like, the idea is pretty much there. And then I have like a thing where like I need to edit it and then kind of post it. So I'll just write out like main things, like, okay, this is funny, I should say this, I should do this.
You're the most organized person I've ever met.
Thank you very much. I do take pride in it. Yeah. So like, I'm trying to think which ones. I don't know. Does it matter if I say them? I wrote one.
No, it doesn't. No, it's a podcast. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Feel free.
I mean, I should probably say one that I'm actually going to like record, because some of them I don't really. I I should have recorded that one today.
There you go.
Some are really stupid.
Yeah.
You know, like I had to like when you like adopt a highway. I feel like there's something about adopting a highway, and I had this idea. I just wanted to say the punchline where he's like, "I tell you stop hanging out with her." And it's like, "I told you she's for the streets," and he's like, "But I'm a highway." You know, like I just wanted to sketch. Like I just wanted to do that, and like you know, when you adopt a highway, like that's the only thing. But I don't know what else happens leading up to it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the whole skit. I don't know. But if you see that, go ahead and throw that a like and something.
She for the streets, and you just like, but I'm a highway, and it's just like it's like the.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just say it's like the freeway. I couldn't think it's the freeway. Like, what is she for the freeway then? Like, what's that? Like, okay, like that could be a thing. Like, she for the streets. I'm like, well, I thought she was for the freeway. Like, 'cause that's where her highway is. Kind of a.
And then I was gonna have another one when the dad is like, didn't I tell you not to hang out on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard? I was like, yeah.
Where in the world
This
you are?
episode should have been definitely filmed in February.
Hey, no, that's a good one. Yeah, because
I just don't know how to film. Like, so that's where I'll get hung up. I was like, okay, maybe the ideas, like, I know what I want to end on because that's a funny. But then I was like,
Saying
how do
it
I
out
film
loud
it?
helps.
Yeah.
Saying it out loud helps. Have you? Yeah, like for me, not just I don't know about, but like bits to say out.
Yeah.
It helps to say it out loud first.
Well, I'll say for the Martin Luther King one, it's kind of the Boondocks kind of did a similar thing to it. Where it's talk about it was like the things that we used to know about Martin Luther King now become like some of the most dangerous places. Because like if you Martin Luther King Boulevard, like it's always like the most dangerous spots because that's where they put it. They're like, oh, here's Martin Luther King School and stuff like that. Like Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, or Malcolm X in Berkeley. It's not like it's like all these places, and it just somehow happens to be in the hood.
You ever seen that movie Bad Teacher?
Yeah.
Like the girl at the end says, "I'm gonna go teach the underprivileged kids at Malcolm X." Hey man, we just got the light, bro. Like we're getting close to the end. Before we go though,
it's been a lot of fun.
You had a question. You were
No,
about to say something.
I was gonna say something. I'll tell you off air.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got some off air.
Let's keep it off air. Then. If you're hesitating now, let's not even get into it.
Well, I feel like it's a good idea, so I wanted you to add to the sketch. I don't want to give away sketch ideas.
Before we go though, first of all, thank you for coming out.
Thank you so much for having me, gentlemen.
Hey, you're looking your camera. You're looking right into the heart of Richmond, California.
I love you, Richmond. Thank you so much for having me. Baltic Kiss last Monday every month, and we're going to be bringing an open mic every Monday very soon. And we have Karen Buchanan show at Kaleidoscope 5:30 to 6:30. So thank you guys, and we're going to make comedy happen in Richmond.
And also your social media. Tell them where they can find you.
At Asifo Says, that's my last name, ASIFO Says. So be posting more skits now, some comedy. I try to post about where I'm going to be, but sometimes it don't matter. So you'll see it online. You'll see it come out. And the Factory. Rich, my boy Rich Barney. He runs the show in the Richmond as well. So Richmond, we love you guys. We want to get y'all to laugh. We want to get y'all out. So thank you guys for tuning in, man. Thank you guys.
Real quick, it's just Richmond. It's not the Richmond because the Richmond is a city in San Francisco.
Well, I didn't. If I did, my apologies. I don't want to set trip. I go out, my tires are spiked because y'all didn't got the word out. Richmond. I try to specify whenever I'm talking to like comics. Just be like, hey, this is in Richmond, not
And tell them what kind of car you drive, just so they don't.
So I drive. What you said? You have a Honda? I drive a Honda Accord. So if you see that, go ahead and do what you will. Do what you got to do. I'm not mad at you.
Steven Asifo, it's been a pleasure, my guy.
Thank you guys so much, man.
Thank
Signing
you for coming
off.
out. Has been the Voice Party.
All right, Voice Party.